That too. It says, love ye one another. And if you love one another, you ain't gonna be carrying no gun to shoot, kill nobody else. Love don't cover that.
Now, News Channel 6 at 7, a Richmond County investigator killed in the line of duty tonight. Team coverage across the community.
And mostly dry and clear conditions will exist for the rest of Wednesday. Going into Thursday, we're going to have another nice day. Temperatures are going to be chilly to start. We have rain in the forecast. I'll have more on that soon.
I'm Archit Seshadri in Atlanta. An inside look at Tyler Perry's studios ahead of tonight's presidential debate. Next.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 7.
And a good evening to you. You are watching News Channel 6 at 7. I'm John Hart. We do appreciate you being with us tonight. Continuing our coverage of a Richmond County investigator shot and killed in the line of duty last night. Investigator Cecil Riley was shot while working an investigation at a convenience store at the corner of 12th and Laney Walker. He later died at the hospital. The suspect, Alvin Hester Jr., shot by other deputies. They are on administrative leave during the investigation. Hester has not yet been charged. He is in the hospital tonight. Ridley, a 17-year veteran of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Richard Roundtree says he worked for the Sheriff's Office for 11 years before leaving for another job, then returned about 6 years ago. The sheriff describes Ridley as one of the hardest working and most passionate investigators in the department. Tonight, we are learning new information about the circumstances that led to investigator Ridley's death. Sheriff Richard Roundtree held a news conference this afternoon. Jenna Kelly was there.
That's right, John. The sheriff spoke candidly about investigator Ridley. He even got teary-eyed. He says Ridley was part of a new gun control initiative the sheriff started about a month ago. That initiative has led to 52 guns being taken off the streets over the past 15 days. Sheriff Roundtree says the suspect, Alvin Hester Jr., had 3 illegal handguns as well as drugs on him at the time of the incident. Ridley's body was sent to the GBI crime lab for an autopsy. You saw that motorcade on WJBF.com. We live streamed it earlier. The sheriff says his office and Ridley's family are getting a lot of help, and it is appreciated.
We've already reached out with the Georgia Sheriff Association. They've already donated financial assistance to the family to get to them immediately. So it's a lot of benefits that are going to be coming, and a lot of honors and tributes that are already put in place.
The sheriff says his employees will mourn their loss, but they still have a job to do. He says funeral arrangements for Ridley are not yet complete. When we have those, we will share them with you.
All right, Jenna, authorities tell us the life of a narcotics officer is one of the hardest and most underappreciated jobs in law enforcement. Today, we spoke with the sheriff in Burke County about the position. The purpose of the narcotics division is to combat the influx of illegal drugs being used, sold, and transported. Sheriff Alfonso Williams says there's not a lot of appreciation for narcotics officers in the communities where they are working to get rid of criminals.
Sending those folks out into these situations on a daily basis, it's tough because we're getting pushback from the community saying that we don't want this behavior. We want our property values to remain good. We want the criminal element gone.
Sheriff Williams adds narcotics officers normally are responding to a crime that a suspect has started, which puts them at a disadvantage. Says there have been 106 officers in the United States killed in the line of duty this year. During his news conference this afternoon, Sheriff Roundtree also talked about investigator Ridley, the person. Ashley Flette continues our team coverage live in the newsroom with that part of the story.
Investigator Ridley had 17 years with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Roundtree says Ridley's loss is being felt by the entire community, but it's also being felt by his family. He says the investigator leaves behind a small grandchild who has yet to understand what happened. The sheriff attended a CHAMPS graduation this morning where students held a moment of silence in honor of the investigator. And Governor Brian Kemp reached out to the sheriff this morning to offer his condolences. Sheriff Roundtree says all the community support shows how important it is to get guns off the streets.
From the result of violence in the community comes out to a point where it just reminds you of what it is to be in law enforcement. I mean, you have kids that are lining the street holding flags. The public stops on the side of the road to pay tribute. So all this negative that you hear in law enforcement, it goes away for that day.
The sheriff says the 2 officers who shot the suspect are on administrative leave pending the investigation. Ashley Flete, WJBF News Channel 6.
Okay, Ashley, fellow local law enforcement agencies are reacting to the news of investigator Ridley's death. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office issued this statement, quote, "Sad day for our law enforcement family as well as the community. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family as well as to every member of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office," end quote. Aiken Department of Public Safety also sending its condolences. Chief Charles Barranco saying, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with them at all times, but especially now in this hard time." Augusta's mayor ordering flags at all county and city buildings to be flown at half staff. Mayor Hardy Davis reacting to the news of investigator Ridley's death this morning. He says he was told of Ridley's death last night.
It's a very tragic situation for us at the passing of investigator Cecil Ridley. I think the challenge for us is making sure that we put our arms around not only his family, but the men and women who continue to serve and protect.
Yeah, Mayor Davis told George Escala this is the 2nd Richmond County deputy killed in the line of duty during his time in office. You'll remember Sergeant Greg Marr was killed in 2017 when he ran into a building during a gas leak to save an employee. More tributes for Ridley coming from the Augusta Fire Department. EMA Director Chris James issuing this statement. It reads in part, quote, "The men and women who chose to become first responders put their lives on the line every day to protect our community. And last night, investigator Ridley paid the ultimate sacrifice," end quote. The incident happened just before 9 o'clock last night at a convenience store. Again, it was in the Laney Walker Bethlehem neighborhood. Ashley Osborne is there tonight. She spoke to people who live and work in that area. Ashley.
Yeah, John, we've had people drive by, walk up, surprised to see that this convenience store is still closed. But really from the road, not many signs to show the tragedy that happened here last night. There were earlier today, though. There were what appeared to be bullet holes in the glass door behind me. That door has since been replaced. There are, though, similar holes in the awning above me. There's not many businesses in the immediate surrounding area. There are a handful of churches, though. We talked to a deacon at one of them.
Green Grove Missionary Baptist Church is less than 3 blocks from the spot where investigator Cecil Ridley was shot and killed Tuesday night. This church has been in the Laney Walker Bethlehem neighborhood for almost 100 years. Deacon Joe Francis has been here for 23 of them.
A lot of times when people are grieving in a community, they'll come to a church looking for guidance on how to grieve. What kind of advice do you give people in that kind of situation?
Well, the scriptures cover that. You know, and say that if the community hurts, then you hurt. Not just the deacon or the pastor or anybody, but everybody in the community hurts.
So when you saw on the news this morning what happened not but a couple blocks from your church, what did you think? What kind of went through your head?
Well, you know, I have been contemplating this for a long time. Definitely behind the Sheriff Roundtree. He said that he wants to get rid of all of this, get rid of the guns, you know, and all this kind of stuff.
His church and the crime scene are right in the middle of a handful of projects that are part of the city's revitalization effort for Laney Walker Bethlehem. Housing and Community Development Director Hawthorne Welcher tells News Channel 6 this tragedy shows how hard the sheriff's office is working to reduce crime in this area. He says their presence is felt and a key component to the desired change. Deacon Francis says so is love.
The Bible covers that too. It says, "Love ye one another." And if you love one another, you ain't gonna be carrying no gun to shoot or kill nobody else. Love don't cover that.
And the deacon offers their church as a resource to anyone who is grieving. And as for the revitalization efforts in the Laney Walker Bethlehem neighborhood, Hawthorne Welcher tells me that those efforts will continue. People will continue to fight for change in this area, just like investigator Ridley did. Reporting live from Augusta, Ashley Osborne, WJBF News Channel 6.
And we have much more coverage on the death of investigator Cecil Ridley at WJBF.com. You can find all of our team coverage there, including more of the dispatch tapes and reaction across the community.
And a look at the Jiffy Lube Skyview Network over at Television Park here. We have a nice night tonight. We are going to start getting, I guess, a little chilly. It's a little chilly net right now at 48 degrees, but we are going to stay dry and clear. As you can see, a little busy on Bobby Jones, but overall tonight's going to be a very nice night. High pressure system is running our weather right now. This is bringing us the clear conditions. We're going to stay that way today or tonight, tomorrow, and into Friday, but as you can see, the front out to the west, that's going to change a little bit, and then it's going to affect us as we go into the weekend. 48 degrees for us right now, and we are expecting temperatures to be in the upper 30s. It'll be dry, it'll be clear, but it's going to end up being a nice day tomorrow and Friday. I'll have more on that coming up in about 10 minutes. John?
All right, Alex, and we are now just minutes away from most of the Democrat candidates for president taking part in a debate in Atlanta. Archie Seshadri sets the table for us.
The Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta had a royal red carpet welcome just last month with all the A-list stars of Hollywood. And within just a few weeks, they've already secured two big projects: tonight's Democratic presidential debate and next month's Miss Universe pageant. Event organizers say that's because Georgia is a crucial battleground state with the highest number of African-American voter participation. That's why both Republicans and Democrats are keeping a close watch on the Peach State. Event organizers say one of the main reasons they picked this location a few weeks back is that it's one of the only major studios in the country owned by an African American. The 330-acre studio space has 12 sound stages named after prominent African Americans in the entertainment industry. It even has a replica of the White House. The 10 Democratic hopefuls will face off at the Oprah Winfrey soundstage with around 1,000 audience members. They'll have a little more than a minute to make their point.
I'm frustrated about everything. I think we have a president who is out for himself and no one else. That's the first thing. And secondly, we've got a Senate who, puts their tails between their legs and follows him no matter what he does or says.
The lies, lack of transparency. Just recently, the Republican Senate voted down $255 million that would have helped historically black colleges and also other historical institutions that would help people of color.
DNC organizers are pushing hard in Georgia to also fight voter suppression, making sure those who are disabled have the proper transportation to cast their ballots. They're also looking for ways to increase voter participation from the African American community, the Latino community, and also capture the youth vote. Now tomorrow, some of the presidential hopefuls will join Stacey Abrams, who's fighting voter purging. Abrams also hinted that if asked, she'll happily accept the vice presidential nominee. Reporting in Atlanta, the Tyler Perry Studios, Archie Seshadri, Atlanta Bureau Chief.
And that debate 9 o'clock tonight. Meanwhile, repairs finally on the way to Augusta's Fleming Park. Been more than a year now since 12-year-old Melquan Robinson was killed at the park after touching a fence that was electrified. In February, commissioners voted to relight and wire the park. Now, 8 months later, commissioners have approved $1 million in sales tax money to upgrade Fleming.
Yes, it's been a timely process, but situations like this require a lot of time and study to make sure you do it right and make sure you find out all the problems that's out there. And I'm glad that we were able to make sure that that was top priority in our repairs.
Repairs expected to begin sometime next year. Commissioner Williams says the work is only the beginning of the sales tax projects at Fleming.
Since the mother of Manuel, we wanted to make sure that everybody heard the cries of the people.
Today, the first day, members of the South Carolina House of Representatives can pre-file bills for the 2020 legislative session. Several lawmakers have a common goal after lottery.
What's up, Georgia? I'm John Crow with your Cash 3, Cash 4 and Georgia 5 evening drawings. How amazing would it be to win $1,000 a day for the rest of your life? Cash for Life has drawings 7 days a week. That gives you a chance every day to win $1,000 a day. Play Cash for Life. Now, play Cash 3. Your first winning number is 4. That's followed by 1, and your final winning number is 6. Again, if you have the numbers 4, 1, and 6, way to go. Now let's play Cash 4 and win you some money. Our first winning number is 0. That's followed by 1. Up next, we have 3, and your final winning number is 3. Again, if you have the numbers 0, 1, 3, and 3 in any winning combination, congratulations. On to Georgia 5. Here we go. Your first winning number is 5. That's followed by 6. Up next, we have 8. Your next number is 9, and your final Georgia 5 numbers 4. Again, those numbers are 5, 6, 8, 9, and 4. Good luck and play on, Georgia.